Welcome back to Read Out Loud, the podcast where we talk about the power of storytelling and the magic of making your words matter. I'm Matt, and as always, I am joined by the radiant, resplendent, and relentlessly upbeat queen of creativity herself, the one and only Christina.
You make it sound like I float in on a glitter cloud.
You do float in on a glitter cloud.
Yes, I've always wanted to ride in on a glitter cloud. Everywhere I go, that glitter cloud following me around.
Yes, you do. Well, today's episode is a special one. We're going to take a look back at everything season 4 has given us, the lessons, the laughs, and the behind-the-scenes chaos, and all the unforgettable moments that made this season one of our favorites. So whether you've been with us from the beginning or you've just joined the party, we are so glad you're here. So listen, grab a coffee, settle in, and let's wrap up season 4 in the only way we know how. Loud, proud, and with a lot of heart.
Yay!
So perfect. Let's reflect on this season, right? It's been a good season. We've got a lot under our hat. We started this season by kicking things off with a little bit of imposter syndrome.
Yes. My favorite topic to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, because I think a lot of people don't realize where it comes from. Once I realized where specifically my clients were, experiencing imposter syndrome, it was places that I could see that they really were at that point, that they were ready to get better. They were noticing things in their own writing that they could improve. People that aren't improving their writing and just going on their merry way don't suffer from imposter syndrome because they aren't actively trying to be better.
Sure.
So for me, that discovery of imposter syndrome, meaning that, hey, you're ready to improve. You are ready to go to work. Not saying that there isn't anything to work on, that you're fine and dandy, but really that idea. And so ever since I've said that, anytime people start feeling that imposter syndrome, we talk about it, we work through it, they figure out, oh, okay. And even in my own life, when I've started to feel like, oh, Lordy, am I ready for this?
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, wait a minute. I must be, because if I'm thinking that I'm not ready for it, then I'm ready for the challenge.
Yeah. This is probably, these 2 episodes were the ones that I received the most feedback on, in a good way. Most people that had reached out and said, oh my gosh, I listened to that and I was really feeling that today. And it was just a thing that was almost a sign that I needed to listen to it. So I was really glad that you guys put out that episode. And then the next one came out. It was about what to do with it, right? How to approach it. So it was cool to get that feedback and to hear that from them too.
That's awesome.
And if we were feeling any kind of imposter syndrome, of course, we had to quickly tamp that down, because next up on the list was Kristin Ashley.
Yes. My favorite episode.
Yeah.
My favorite episode of the season.
Yeah. Absolutely amazing. Loved having Kristen on. I think we had such a great conversation with her. And
yes,
I think we're hopefully looking forward to inviting her back on soon.
Yes. She is welcome to come on anytime she wants.
Mm-hmm.
She's got a couple releases, one of which is coming up shortly. So,
nice.
Yeah. So, Kristen, if you hear this, let's book.
Talk.
Yeah. Let's get you on. Yeah. I think that was so fun for me in 2 ways, not just as a podcaster, as someone who works with writers, as an editor, but as a reader.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a fan of hers for a long time. And just to be able to discuss the book And it was a turning point book that some really great things happen. I don't want to put spoilers out there for anyone. If you listen to the episode and you want the spoilers, they're there at the end. And yep. So I think, that was probably one of my favorite episodes that we've done, but definitely my favorite episode of this season.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Then we followed that up with, of course, a little bit of belief in yourself and some resistance fiction. And then even dabbled into what makes a bestseller. So we talked a little bit about those pieces. And then I think my next favorite one was the mystery box and really talking about what that means.
Yes. Yeah. I think that the way J.J. Abrams framed that just made so much sense to me. And specifically when I am reading or watching something that really is giving you little grains instead of the breadcrumbs, instead of just full blown, here's the story and here are the characters, but one that feeds you little by little. Those are always my favorite stories because it automatically makes me want to like, what was that? Okay, I've got to turn the page. I've got to go to the next show. I've got to find out what happens next.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I like a little bit of mystery. It's one of my favorite genres, along with the kind of the thriller, right? And like getting into that. So that episode in particular, I really, really enjoyed. And then, of course, we met up with a wonderful author and client of yours, Susanna Strom, and writing that killer first chapter.
Yes.
So talk to Susie about that one. That was a lot of fun, actually. I really enjoyed that conversation too.
Good. I'd love to have her back on, as well as Scarlett Cole, to talk about plotting versus pantsing, because I think Susie has a really interesting story. Again, Scarlett Cole, we touched on it just a little bit during her episode, how you think you are going to be one, and then it turns out you're the other.
Yeah,
figuring that out. So we've got to readdress that one. But I love Susie.
That'd be awesome. We hit up a couple of things in terms of writing as a path to healing. We then had an episode that I think also was maybe not my favorite, but it's definitely one of them. Villains we love to hate. So we talked about crafting complex characters, right? And I think that one it was fun to think about those villains that we genuinely just love to hate.
Yeah.
The conversation around that one. Then we got to speak a little bit with Kelly, and we talked about the ownership debate in digital books, right? Do you actually own the books that you've purchased?
Yeah. I think that to me is some of that behind the scenes stuff I know a little bit about, but not the depth that Kelly can speak to that kind of thing. And so it's always fascinating to listen to what her perspective is on things and what's going on in that part of the industry. I was actually not aware that I didn't own my Kindle book and that they can be torn away from me at any moment, that I'm only, quote unquote, borrowing them. So it really made me think about, where do I want to spend my money? Do I want to rebuy some of the things maybe in paper copy, hard copy? Real books. Physical books. Physical books.
Well, we talked in that episode too about some of the places that you can go to get the actual physical in air quotes, digital copies, right? Like ones that that you own.
Yes.
We talked about going directly to the author's pages and buying them from the authors. A lot of times that will work, but also Humble Bundle. I talked about that. And I literally just did that the other day. I bought the entire Robert Jordan Wheel of Time series. From Humble Bundle, and it worked out really, really well. So we get some good deals there. And then finally, a couple of kind of wrap up episodes. We talked about the creativity and controversy, right? Can we separate art from the artist? And of course, big part of that one was J.K. Rowling and how horrendous person she is.
Man, after that episode, did that really blow up? So very timely on that one.
Yep, it did indeed. And then we wrap things up. We took when we went from hate to love with The Last of Us and the art of storytelling, and the episode 3, Long, Long Time.
Yeah. And I've already been getting feedback on that one quite a bit. A lot of people saying that that's their favorite episode of television ever.
Sure.
And I said it at the time during the podcast. I literally had to listen to the song and watch the credits roll because I didn't want to move. I wanted to stay in that episode.
Yeah.
Didn't want to leave it. So yeah, that episode that we did, I think is one of my favorite episodes that we've done for this podcast. And I've been wanting to do it for a long time.
Yes.
So finally being able
time,
to, yes, a long time. Pun absolutely intended. So I'm glad we finally got to do that.
Yeah, it was fantastic. As that show is, and just keeps going. I love it.
Yes.
I love it. So, yeah, over this whole season, we've had a lot of great little moments that came together to weave this whole tapestry of what became season 4. And I know it wasn't necessarily what we had originally intended for the season to look like. We talked about some
plans.
Exactly. Sometimes we think of things that are more timely and more relevant, and we need to make that shift. That is what we do. So, well, that is the wrap on season 4 of Right Out Loud. Thank you for sticking with us, for sending your stories and your notes, your questions, and your love. We'll take a little break. We're going to dream up even more magic for season 5. But in the meantime, catch up on any episodes you missed. Follow us on the socials. We are at Right Out Loud Pod. And hey, maybe write a little something of your own. So we'll be back before you know it. But until then, Right Out Loud. Hey, thanks so much for listening to the podcast. We really hope that you're enjoying every bit of it, but we would love to hear your feedback. Drop us an email either to matt@rightoutloudpod.com or Kristina@bookmatchmaker.com. We would love to hear your thoughts. What's working, what's not working, and what do you want to hear more of? Thanks so much. We really appreciate it.